Hello and welcome to Underpowered. I'm your host, Casey Cole, and with me tonight is my favorite redhead person in the world, Eric Scott. And back again, visiting to help us cap off our JRPG July, returning guest, friend, and the notorious Parker Simmons. Hi, Parker.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
We were just talking about getting old and gut health earlier. Just like things before the show, super exciting. Shelby and gut health. Shelby couldn't be here tonight because not for his gut health, but Shelby is actually, if you guys did not know, is a short king, and he decided to get that surgery where you get your legs broken.
You're fucking with me. There's
no
way.
Shelby is only 5'3", so he just wants to be tall.
I don't believe you.
I mean,
there's no way that's true.
So what do they do? Break your legs and shim up?
Have you seen the surgery? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
It's what all the tech bros are getting at, and I'm like, it's not going to
solve. It is. It's so weird.
Oh, I thought he pooped his pants at the grocery store.
That's what he's saying because of his, but it's because of the shortness. He
just going to come back a little taller. Hey, I'm 6'3", and I'm here to tell you, it doesn't really make all that much. You're not going to be happier if you're not happy now. You're not going to be happier seeing a little bit higher. You gotta work on your soul.
But you might be happier if you can dunk.
If he's already that short, I don't think a couple extra inches is gonna do it. It's why I have heard about people, get that surgery and then they go jogging and it's just
then shatter
and they click. Yeah. I'm like, dude, just wear lifts like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, is that what he does? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wears platforms. They're not lifts. Some people wear lift. You ever see people that are just kind of pitched forward all the time, wearing lifts?
I would know. I'm 6'2". I am also fine with my height. Mm-hmm. I to each their own. Look at this. Look at the video I found. Of course, Vice did a cover on it. I think, where it's the look at the shackles in your legs. Ugh.
Man,
and then, you cannot convince me in any world that if you do that to your legs, they come back okay or strong still. You know what I mean?
This just makes me very sad.
Yeah. This and then my 600-pound life. If I want to feel kind of better about myself, but also sad, I'll watch that.
You
the
surgery life affirming.
Is this only out of India that they do this?
There's tons. There's been some out of America too. This is just one of the covers of it. There's other videos. This is the first picture I could find where they showed the legs in shadows.
The title, Deadly Beauty.
Beauty.
Now we're talking investigation discovery. Yeah. Now we're talking TLC. Deadly Beauty.
No,
there's that show Botched.
Yeah. Oh my God.
We're here to talk about video games anyway.
But no, Botched was great. When you're in 8th grade and you're like, oh, what they're showing boobs and horrible messed up faces. You're like, what is going on this channel? And this is on cable TV. E is E.
That's what I was. Yeah, if you're in 8th grade, you're like, yeah, watching something I shouldn't be, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm watching something I shouldn't.
It turns into there's this
maybe I like cartoons after all. Switch.
Yeah, I'll go back to Adult Swim. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not ready for Botched. You're not ready. You're not ready for the big leagues.
No, I'm gonna turn on Final Fantasy IX and feel better about myself.
There you
go. Man, a lot of fun games out. I think, and we keep talking about it, and everybody I talk to that's a gamer this year, that this year has to be one of the all-time bests as far as quality of titles that are coming out or come out. I think you could put it up against any other year, and it's the top dog.
2017 was the last sort of big one. We got Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and a slew of others that I can't.
Cuphead, PUBG.
There you go.
Love Cuphead. Love me some Cuphead.
And I'm saying it. We still haven't gotten the game of the year yet. It still hasn't been released.
Oh, you're talking about Starfield?
Oh, Starfield. Do you have high hopes for that?
I have such high hopes for Starfield.
Eric loves him some Skyrim.
I'm excited to try it out. I never really got into Bethesda stuff. I think I finally played. I tried Fallout. I'm like, yeah, and then I think and I know people were. It was 4. Somebody said Trinity Vegas. That one's great. But I did finally play Was it Outer Worlds? Is that the name of that game, that the offshoot of Bethesda?
Yeah, that's not the one that's like with the Majora's Mask mechanic, right? Because there's Outer Worlds.
No.
Yeah, Outer Wilds. That's Outer Wilds.
You think of Outer Wild. I played Outer Worlds, which is like Futurama. It's like
Yes.
Futurama, choose your own adventure. And,
I've heard that's super fun. That's on Switch.
Yeah. I think I played it on Xbox, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I liked, the idea of, you really are creating your character build, and you can smooth talk your way or fight your way out, and often with like hilarious results. So it'll be interesting to see what that team does with like a huge scale. But everything they were saying at E3, I'm just like, I got big Fable vibes. What was that dude's name who made Fable? Is he still around? Was he not like shamed into hiding yet?
He did something not appropriate. Peter Molyneux?
Yeah, every year he'd be like, you don't even know.
Oh yeah,
Fable is going to be the only game that ever existed, because in this game it's real. And then you play it and you're like, dude, this is just Infamous.
Yeah,
with like swords.
Yeah.
I don't like this. 7 out of 10. Get out of here. A
high
rental from there. You get this from Blockbuster and you beat it in a weekend. And
and those games need to exist. I like those games.
So that's the vibe I'm getting from this Starfield talk. With like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. I'm like, too much.
I don't know. Skyrim is like one of the greatest game ever, right? And it's been made. They're still selling it 12 years later. Like
they're still selling broken, unpatched, completely unmended, unplayable versions of it years later, and charging full price. Get the fuck out of here! No, fix your shit. Sort your shit. No way.
It's really two reasons. I do think Starfield looks cool. The idea of a fully a living explorable universe that you can explore, and I said explore universe you can explore. That you can visit planets and just all kinds of stuff are going on. But actually, as much hate as you just gave Skyrim, I loved Skyrim, and it was so broken.
That's part of its charm.
Well, I mean, so's one of my other favorite, Pokemon Scarlet. I still
broken. We all talked about that. Yeah,
still love it. But it's really the team has been focusing on Starfield, and it's been it's been kind of the stepping stone to the Elder Scrolls 6. Still don't have a name. We still have a rough teaser video that basically confirms yes, this is in the works. But they've been
all the chips are in. They did Hi-Fi Rush like off as a side project, which was a really cool game.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush was so
beautiful, and Titmouse Studio I've worked with for years did a lot of the 2D animation on that.
Oh, nice!
Really awesome. beautiful game, and it's just shocking. Just kind of came out of nowhere.
And it's a rhythm game. You're like, oh, all right, I love games like that. That's my thing with like Half-Life 3. If it ever comes out, they just have to be like, hey, it's out. Like they can't build it up, right? Like one of those, like it's there. But Eric, like, I know like modding's a big part of the Skyrim too, where like people that makes it better. But what is it for you? Is it the storytelling, or is it like the feel? Like what
choice,
is it?
Right? It's got to be the choice.
In my opinion, it's I love D&D, and in my opinion, the way that it kind of starts, you're sort of just dropped into this world, and you can literally do anything. It's the closest I think that any video game has come to actually matching sort of a D&D type of a world that has, different events going on, and you can literally go and do whatever you want to do. There's known workarounds for things, and there are certain things that are buggy and certain things that are broken, but at the same time, a lot of those bugs kind of allow you to experience the game in different ways. You can sort of jump on roofs and access, find back ways and abilities that you kind of shouldn't, but you can get items that, sort of really change the way that the game is played.
Right.
So there's a lot of choice, there's a lot of exploration, and, a lot was made about the size of the world when the game came out. And since then, I know Breath of the Wild is dwarfs.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
But for the time when you really explore Skyrim and that whole world, it almost seems too small with the amount of things that you can do.
Yeah. Which is the trade-off with the bugginess, right? Because when you create a land of not infinite, but obviously big choice, there's almost no way to fully test that because you can't predict what every player is going to do, and you can't afford to test a game for 10 years. I firmly believe that something, and we're talking about Starfield, Skyrim. I have no idea, and I've seen several articles with Tears of the Kingdom where game developers are like, I don't know how they did this.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is possible. I'm like,
that's my favorite
thing. It's like, easy to take it for granted that it's magic. So
yeah.
Well, it is possible to create that type of open, free choice game that isn't broken or buggy, but I think it requires some kind of elder magic that only Nintendo has in the deepest dungeons in Kyoto, that no one can access.
It's an Oni.
So it's fair.
I have to say, though, Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably the closest thing we have to that.
Yeah.
So, perfect sandbox with living world that you can do, Grand Theft Auto 5 Live. How long has that game been out? And how
That's the thing about it too. I always they show the sales numbers, and I wish you could look at how many people are playing the online versus finishing the story. Because the story, you don't hear people talking about the story. You hear them talking about GTA
awesome.
Online.
I love the story.
Yeah, I know the story's great, but everyone plays it for the online now because it's like a big open world. And for you, when you were talking about D&D, I had to look up because Baldur's Gate 3 comes out next month, and I've been eyeing that because I run our D&D campaign. I know Parker's not a D&D guy. I'm going to slowly try to trick him into it somehow.
I'm not interested in math.
What if you could click a screen and it did the math for you?
I just feel like Schwarzenegger in the Simpsons movie. I was elected to lead, not to read.
Not to read. Oh man.
The creativity in D&D is it's so much fun. What my character has done would blow your mind.
I'm sure. It's mostly arson.
Mostly arson. Well, that's hard to prosecute. No clues.
But an amazing snowboard trick with a cat.
Yeah, that was true too. That's the
and then followed by some mild arson.
Yeah, mild.
Which is impressive.
Just a little bit here and there. Yeah. It's the only way you can get out of it, right? No, I'm excited for I need Skyrim's on my backlog. That's something I want to play and beat. I think Starfield could be it, but I also think it's going to kind of fall into how Cyberpunk did and all these big games now where my expectation is really low in that it's probably going to be kind of broken. It's still probably going to be really amazing, and they're going to have to patch it after a couple weeks, and then people are going to be pissed off for about a month, right? This is the normal cycle with these type of games. Cyberpunk did it in what was the last game that just did this? It happened this year too, with
Redfall or whatever.
But Redfall was bad. Redfall was just bad.
So do you think it's a bad sign though? Then that Starfield's been pushed back twice, 3 times?
No, I think I actually respect them more for doing that.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah, Nintendo showed them that with Zelda. They're like, hey, we're gonna go. It's okay to do that. More studios should do that.
A delayed game can eventually be good. A bad game is bad forever.
Yeah, I think that's true too.
Delayed game to be released just in time for the holidays.
Just for the holidays.
That's exactly right.
Sometimes it is a bit of a strategic move too. Hey,
it's day one Game Pass too. So if you pay for that service at all, you have nothing
reason not to play.
It being buggy. There's 100 other games, and I've got Game Pass, full disclosure, and I'm still like, how they've got to be hemorrhaging money.
You have Game Pass because they said they are. They know it's a loss, but
they have to be. I'm like, there's no way you're definitely not getting your money's worth out of me. I am eating you out of house and home for $15 a month.
Yeah, dude. But that's because they know, kids grew up, people buying video games grew up with Blockbuster, and realistically, if you're paying for 3 AAA title games a year, you're paying $180, right? Because I think the casual average gamer plays 3 big games a year, right, or something like that. This year, I
think they're counting on the dads who buy an Xbox, have no time to play, get Game Pass anyway, and they just get this sort of passive income from them.
And they just go play Rocket League. Yeah.
If anything, they're just working and they forget that they're paying that $15 a month because that's right at the limit where it's like, yeah, I'll do that. What's the new game system? Why, here you are, sir. It's an Xbox. Let me get the best one. What's the biggest TV you have? Meanwhile, he's got like cans of ravioli stacked up in his car. He just goes back to his completely unfurnished apartment. Puts the TV on the floor,
a beanbag.
And he's just like, okay. I wish I hadn't had an affair and ruined my family. What's on Game Pass? Microsoft.
It still blows my mind. It still blows my mind. And yeah, $15 a month. It's like, oh my God, all these games. You mentioned Blockbuster. Because when I was a kid, I got 2 brand new games a year: my birthday and Christmas. 2 brand new games a year.
And you had to pick those babies out.
Yep. And
you had to be damn sure those were the ones.
Yes, it's Final Fantasy VII, Mom. Not this one. Not this one. It's this one. This very specific one.
With strategy guide. Not Brady game.
Always. Prima for life.
Otherwise, it was Blockbuster if Dad was feeling happy.
That was it the rest of the year, and it made sense too because most of those games you play for a couple of days, and you know when you got a stinker.
But Eric's fibbing a little bit. Eric got hooked up from a kid that lived in our neighborhood. His dad had a really good job and would give him games.
Oh, this neighbor's kid's dad worked at Nintendo.
Hey, it's me. My dad worked for. It's me. Yes, and he worked for EA and Nintendo. But yeah, when I lived in California with this guy as a kid, my dad worked at EA Sports. So I always hooked up with my buddies.
Well, I didn't even.
It's in the game.
At that point in my life, I didn't even need games because it was basically okay. Friday night, Saturday night. Okay, whose house are where are we sleeping over? You sleeping over my house?
Yeah, where's the sleepover? And then everybody's gonna bring the game. Yeah, we're good about that as kids.
Sorry about that.
But I think too, like with the, what do you think Final Fantasy 16 is gonna be on Game Pass?
I don't think it's coming to Xbox.
Ever? You don't think it will in time?
Nope.
I don't think so.
That's why I bought a PS5. Trust me, I was real sad to make that decision because there was nothing else I wanted on it.
Yeah.
And I had to play Final Fantasy 16, and I just, I wanted to get rid of the PS4 too, and it let you transfer everything over. And it just sort of made it nice and fully obsolete. And I was like, okay, I finally pulled the trigger on that. But I made sure I fully researched, and the developers were like, we're not porting it. I was like, what do you mean you're not porting it? And they're like, we're just not. We made this game for the PS5, and we have no interest in
And they're not going to do it with 7 Remake?
Friendly. I think 7 Remake is coming out on all platforms, including PC, and 16 might come to PC, but they said
Switch. It's not coming to Switch. That'd be.
But I will say, after completing 16, and I've heard, they've said something like this too. Square has. I have so many thoughts, and I know we'll jump into 16 proper. But at some point, one of the guys at Square was like, hey, there's nothing saying our next Final Fantasy won't be a pixel game. And I was like, do that! Don't say that as a joke. Do that.
Yeah.
Don't do this anymore. And I'm done with this. Let somebody else do this shit. You make pixel games. That's what you're good at. Your last few pixel games have been triumphs.
Could they go back to Polygon? Could they go back to the polyhedron style of FF1?
Sure, with fixed camera, that's fine. But they're like, maybe we could do a pixel game for the next one for 17. And I was like, yes, you should do that because it's the scope that's killing you. The scope is murdering you. It's hindering your freedom to tell the story the way it needs to be told. Now, that said, the fact that they said that, and after playing through 16, which is very single-player focused, all I could think the entire time was, dude, holy shit. If they just remade this game in the pixel style and made it the party-based system, they could release it on Switch and call it Final Fantasy 16 pixel version. And it would sell like hotcakes. Same music,
even
environment.
With how dark the story is. The story's pretty heavy, right?
Yeah, dude. Have you played the Final Fantasies on Super Nintendo?
Not like
this is heinous.
Kevin is a really bad guy, but he never got a mature rating.
Celeste tries to commit suicide on a Super Nintendo game.
Hold on. If you're bad and don't get the right fish, that is why you're doing.
And I always never do.
Really?
The point is, those games are dark, and I think Yeah,
true.
Look,
Tella
there's
and
plenty
the twins.
There's plenty of swearing and dark stuff in Octopath and in Triangle Strategy. You put the 2D HD, the HD 2D guys on it. You call it Final Fantasy, and they did this with 15. They called it Pocket Edition. You guys remember that? They remade the whole game.
The one that was on I saw that on phones. Yes.
They remade the whole game. It also came out on Switch. Remake 16 entirely in the HD 2D style with a remastered soundtrack and a party system, which would work as well because in the story, you constantly have at least 2 party members. And there's an argument to be made that you could add even a 3rd party member as well as Clive. On top of that, with some of the side characters in the base who impact the story, like Gav and I feel like there's another character I'm missing here. But yeah, I think
the remake style we really need, they should just do it like this remake right here. That
would be a lot more time consuming. Oh, they also have the assets already. In the menu, there are 16-bit sprites of most of the characters.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're talking remakes, we're talking pixel games. I kind of think Octopath has replaced. There's so many RPGs and JRPGs this year too. We had Fire Emblem Engage, we had Octopath 2, we have Final Fantasy 16, which is it a JRPG? Could you argue? Is it changed? Is it really a Devil May Cry game now?
It's not a JRPG. I'm here to tell you definitively it's not. It's an action RPG, kind of.
Like Secret of Mana? It's more like a Secret of Mana to me, or Kingdom Hearts.
It's Ys. It's Ys.
Okay.
I played through the whole thing. It's just Ys or Tales of. But Tales of has multiple characters to play out, and Ys is typically single player with a skill-based advancement system where you get new abilities. It's Ys.
And Ys is the letter YS for people it's YS, and it's had a lot of games. That's a JRPG that's always kind of passed me by but I know people love it.
Ys is worth your time. If you've ever thought maybe pick it up, pick literally any title.
Yeah,
you'll be fine. They're all great.
I'm okay. I like the 2B. I think Octopath is what they do now, though. I think Final Fantasy, they want to change and evolve it. They're always going to throw whatever big money. Like 15, we had a guy named Christian come on.
So close. They're so close, though, because Octopath is missing something. It's missing something. I'm sorry, dude. I've played both those games, and there's something missing. And for me, it's the narrative. It's not good enough. It just each individual narrative never ever transcends beyond their parts to
beyond the group story. Because
they got closer this time. They got closer, but I'm like, just bite the bullet and make a classic JRPG. Stop this madness. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Saga Frontier did it, and that worked, and it never worked again.
Make Final Fantasy Tactics 2. Do it.
Yeah.
Make Tactics 2.
Yeah, I'm okay with actually too. Like, let's not remake stuff.
Combine the melodrama and the story and the world of 16. These guys, great. You're good. Yeah, very good. Oh, gameplay. Nah. You go over here. And here's the gameplay of Octopath. Smash. That's
break system.
Peanut butter cup that I want.
The break system in Octopath is still my favorite. The music,
fantastic battle system.
And here's the thing:
world story, gameplay, and I'm also going to say the music in Octopath is just.
It's the best. It's the best. If it does not win a Grammy, we riot. That is. I am on that stance. I am trying to talk to
Final Fantasy 16 was largely a bunch of like really lonely, sad remixes of music from Final Fantasy 1, and that's like a mood to go with. But at no point was I like,
was it a beautiful?
Oh my god, my soul is on fire like it is with Octopath.
There was no epic saxophone solos that made you feel things you've never felt before.
I'm never amped. I'm never amped. So I'm like, we're so close. Match it together.
I think that's a fair criticism of Octopath. Like, Eric, that was it for you too, right? You're like, there's no cohesive. Like, I don't know why these people are hanging out. That's kind of what drew you away from it.
It was, what blew me away about Octopath first, the battle system was awesome. And are we talking Octopath? No, not Octopath. Triangle Strategy, I thought.
Oh, Triangle Strategy or Octopath, yeah. Triangle Strategy, I think they did Triangle Strategy also is like super close. With like, I'm with you there too.
It feels more fully formed than Octopath. I'd say after playing it, I definitely felt like good and whole. And
there's free DLC for it right now. I don't know if you've gone back to that.
That's what I heard. I haven't gone back. I'm kind of.
I downloaded that today, and I downloaded Sea of Stars demo, and I tried Sea of Stars today because.
Right from the Messenger team. That's their like. Dude, I'm so scared.
It's their love letter to Secret of Mana. And
they were like, it's like Chrono Trigger. And I'm like, stop saying that. People keep saying that. And I'm like, don't say that. All it does is make me mad because then I play your game and it's clearly not Chrono Trigger.
No, here's where it's like Chrono Trigger in that when
they got Yasunori Mitsuda to do the music, some of the music too. So
there's there's a little stage you try to go to in the demo. They're like, hey, how do you say the name again? You just said it.
Yasunori Mitsuda.
Yeah, Mitsuda's song is right here. You can't do this level in the demo, but you can listen to this song if you just want to stand here, which I love when they do that. The battling is like Chrono Trigger in that, like, when you run into a mob, the battle starts in the field.
Right, Earthbound, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. And the characters are unique. It's the, like, you don't know much about them. They kind of spoil them. I played through it, and the equipment system's real easy, and it's a really pretty pixel art game.
This is an odd question.
Yeah.
But answer honestly. Is it funny?
Yeah, that's actually the thing. The demo is really funny in that, like, there's a part where it's, like, redacted because we don't want to spoil it for you. They're making it, like, clear over the head, like, this is a demo, and you don't get to do everything in the demo.
Sure. There's a charm that Chrono Trigger also has that, like, that the last this was a Square game that was like, we're like Chrono Trigger, and I think some other team worked on it. It was I Am
Setsuna, but it was just sad.
Yeah.
And it was super dreary.
Like, what are you, slow, dreary, sad, just like, and I beat it, by God, but it was against my will towards the end. I was like, Chrono Trigger is about joy. Chrono Trigger is about the triumph of the human spirit. It is fun, funny, colorful, exciting. A mile a minute. You go, which is another thing. These games that are they're always the same. Like, we're like Chrono Trigger, and then they spend 5 hours trying to explore the world, and I'm like, dude, have you played that game?
Chrono Trigger is like
for a minute before they go, you're back in time, and there's giant robots and Tyrannosauruses. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Like, hit me.
If you see, like, right on where I'm putting my mouse, this guy with the squid thing, he has 2 eye patches. He's a pirate with 2 eye patches, and he, like, lifts him up to talk to you. So there's, like, quirkiness there.
So it's fun.
Yeah, you have to arm wrestle this guy, and this is in the demo, so I'm not spoiling anything. And he's, like, super skinny, and they tell you can go all out. And of course, like, watch what they do with the pixel art here as he flexes on you with his this is just like, he's got the tattoo chest, super buff, and they didn't expect it. And they're in an arm wrestling contest, and then you come to find out it's a magic T-shirt that allows him to be buff for like 30 seconds at a time, or whatever. Right? And it goes back to being skinny. See, and the shirt grows back, which is like that in my head. I'm like, okay, D&D item homebrew shirt of muscle, like, you know, for someone who finds that
fun.
I like fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Final Fantasy 16 fun? Would you say it's fun?
Okay.
Is it the most fun you've had this year, or is it Zelda?
Oh, not even remotely. I just got done with Pikmin 4.
I was going to say, is Pikmin 4, how's that?
That is the most fun I've had all year, right next to Tears of the Kingdom. That is the most fun. Although my wife described me playing Tears of the Kingdom as Mike TV in the Willy Wonka reboot with Johnny Depp, where he's in the chocolate factory room and he's just like stomping the shit out of this like big gumball or whatever. Oh. And his dad is like, stop that. And he goes, he said, do whatever you want.
Right.
Like, that's you.
That is.
Because I just would do whatever I want. She's like, well, because people were complaining about like the fire dungeon. My friend Griff was constantly texting me. He's like, this is so hard. It's one of the worst dungeons ever.
Oh, the fire temple one?
I was like, dude, I beat it in 2 minutes. What are you doing? Just make a bunch
because everybody. Here's the thing about the game. Yeah, everybody tries to do like, oh, I have to do it the way it's designed.
It's not. This is not a traditional Zelda. You know
what I did?
Powers.
I used a rocket shield and I flew past everything and fell into the holes. I was like, all right, how can I love beating the system. Pikmin is like, okay, if you go from just what is Pikmin?
I went from Final Fantasy 16 immediately into Pikmin, and I delayed gratification even. Pikmin came in on Friday night, and I was like, God, I want to play that rather than this just dour, grim, kind of downer of a game.
This seems like an Eric game to me in a weird way, or a game you can play with your kids too, like a very cozy game.
initially, but then you start feeling the spirit of Dandori.
Okay.
And unless you know Dandori and unless you've accepted Dandori in your heart, you will be humbled. So what they've done this time around is they have, I don't want to say reinvented the wheel, but they've given it, full service. They've taken this thing for a practice lap, broke it down, figured out what was wrong, set it up again, and it is a sleeker, sexier, faster car than it's ever been. And one of the things about that I think about with this game, and having recently replayed 1, 2, and 3 to completion in anticipation of this, they removed pretty much anything frustrating and focused on fun, to the point that the thing that I, despite playing through those first 3 games really quickly, the thing that I immediately seized upon was I could not put it down. I just couldn't. And when you play Pikmin 1 and 2, you got to put that shit down.
So how many hours does it take to go through a Pikmin and complete it?
This has the most content of any Pikmin game, and I would say it's a good 35, 40 hours if you do everything. And that's more than there has ever been. Typically, these are like 20-hour games. Pikmin 2 was the longest for the longest time, and it was about 20 hours. Maybe 30 if you do the challenge mode. This one, the other thing they've done is they have incorporated all sort of challenge and extra modes into the story instead of a separate mode that you can easily ignore, which was one of the biggest faults of the series for the longest time. Yeah. Now, you're encouraged to perfect your Dandori because it affects the story.
So, you're liking this. It's something that...
I liked Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
But it wasn't fun.
But no, it wasn't fun. It was just something different, right? Yeah.
I can't lie. I had to muscle through it, and I can't.
So, do you like Oppenheimer or do you like the Barbie movie? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, apparently I like Barbie. I haven't seen either, but I think I know I want to have a good time. But that said, the story, world, characters of 16 was a return to form. It reminded me so much of 4, to the point that all I could think was, dude, don't make an action RPG out of a new Final Fantasy story. Make an action RPG out of a Final Fantasy story that you've already made, which is basically
just
the
like 7. Yeah.
Do that with 4.
Do that with 4.
The operatic quality of 4, and the character arc is largely the same because Cecil is a Dark Knight who questions his life, questions the system, choices, and has to fucking change.
Yeah.
He has to become something more. And it's a fun, and that when you're a kid, when you're like, I didn't know a game could do this. You turn on Super Nintendo, it's operatic, it's big. You're also over leveled.
The telescene sticks with me still to this day. When you're like, no. Or when he's with his daughter too. Oh man. That's the first time you do
melodrama. It's I keep saying melodrama. That's what it is. It's soap operatic. It's big. Yes. 16 brings that back. Fantastic voice acting performances, big splashy moments, big set pieces, beautiful art direction, and there's just kind of a 80s fantasy feeling that you're not really going to get anywhere else. And I mean that sincerely. Very 80s. Very 80s.
I know one that's a JRPG, or not JRPG, but it's probably definitely inspired by them, and it has an ode to the 80s that you might be interested in.
What's that?
WrestleQuest. Are you familiar with that?
WrestleQuest.
Oh, Eric, this is
That title's not doing it any favors.
If I feel like I have seen for that Attitude Era or early '90s wrestling as every
never into wrestling at all.
Never. It's soap operas for dudes.
Wrestling. I grew up in the South, so all the wrestling kids were the worst. Stone Cold Steve Austin could totally kill the Undertaker. Now the Undertaker is the toughest. I don't like those kids.
It's obviously because they didn't know The Rock. The Rock is the best.
That came a little later. This is. I grew up in the Stone Cold Goldberg era.
Oh, yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yes.
DDT.
Jake the Snake. The Legion of Doom.
Fantastic art style. This is great.
So this is a RPG called WrestleQuest Legends, and you make a wrestler and you wrestle on the independent circuit. And
that looks great.
Yeah, this might make you feel things. I like that they have some lucha stuff too, if you ever see that. Nice. And then Andre the Giant, Battle Legends, Jake the Snake. You got. I'm very curious about this game.
Is that Diamond Dallas Page or just
yeah? See, you know what? Hey, for someone who doesn't like wrestlers, you're named a lot of them.
So I knew a lot of the wrestling kids, and you know what? We can't always choose
who our friends are.
Be our pals.
Yeah. Also, the video games, WWC and WWE No Mercy were some of the best on the.
They're hilarious. No, those are hilarious games.
Yeah.
Because of what you could do, and there were so many moves that you could you just could not break out.
The best character custom.
You had to watch these awkward polygonal wrestlers go at it. The funniest shit.
Yes, I loved No Mercy. This is coming on Switch in
who's a developer?
Weeks. Eric's writing this down. The developer is what is their name? I should make the video a little bigger.
I haven't played a wrestling game since
Megacat Studios.
Since THQ was making wrestling games.
SmackDown when THQ was still a company.
Yeah, when THQ was alive.
Yes. It's interesting. Yeah. Oh God, that's a long time. Well, no, they kind of came. Well, no, it's a different THQ Nordic, right? That came back. There's something with that.
Yeah.
Pikmin looks like to me too. And it looks like a fun, my son might like that. Looks like a good family friendly game. But
the co-op mode, they went Mario Galaxy this time. Last time around, with 3 Deluxe,
where just the kids there. Okay.
Well, you're just hucking rocks at things, and as you increase your co-op points, they can throw other stuff like carrots as bait and bombs to explode things. And there's a little bit of an item crafting system that they've added this time around. So yeah, there's a lot of potential fun you can have with younger or less experienced players with the co-op mode. My kid tried it and had fun with it and was going crazy, but also after a couple levels was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Their attention span. I want to go play Roblox. No.
See you later.
Yeah. Okay. Hey man, I'm finally old. I don't want to know. What are you gonna do? For me too. You crush games. I feel like with, and I know you've been.
It's rare that I buy a game and I don't like it and I put it down. That is very rare for me. When it does happen, I'm not even mad. I'm just sad about it because I love video games, and as much as we're talking a little shit, it's all in jest. I love games.
Yeah.
I love the people that make them because they love us. Video games are a conversation between a developer and a player, and I love talking to these people.
Yeah.
So I'm bring it on. So when
it's okay to have different tastes, right?
Yes, but when a developer talks to me and they're like, I'm that's too bad. I'm we can't hold a conversation. You know what I mean? They're just sort of yelling at me, or they're mumbling, or they're too quiet. And I'm trying to think of the last game that just didn't click.
Well, okay, let me ask you this, because Eric and I, everyone has games on their backlog. Do you have games that you get, you have intentions to finish, but you just go back, I'm gonna start over, and you keep replaying it? There's got to be one that fits the bill. Eric, I know what Eric's is. It's Breath of Fire 3. His goal, I want him to finish that so bad.
Is that the notorious PS1 one that people No, I'm thinking of 4. People hated 4 because it was loopy and it was
4 was terrible. 3
is the
Yeah, 3 was great. It's
you play as Ryu's grand ancestor or something, or descendant.
Yeah.
In 3 you play as Ryu.
Oh, it's still him. I thought he had his name, but he was Ryu's descendant. And 1 and 2 is the same guy.
And it's the one with Gar where you have to fight the dragons have been hunted down. Yeah. Ray is introduced in that first one. The 4th one's not bad. You get the drunk dog samurai, which is a cool character. But 3 has what was it? The people you can learn job skills from. Jeez. They have a hidden job system.
It was the master system where you apprenticed under different masters, and your when you would level up, your stats would increase. They would have different modifiers for your stats. So you apprentice with Bunyan, your HP and your strength are going to go up, your magic's going to go down. So if you want to build,
you're making a build, you're making a fighter out of Ryu, or you're making a mage out of
and every few levels you get you learn a new skill. And you could copy those skills, and other members of the party can learn those skills. So there's a lot of diversity in that game in terms of what you can do. And the problem that I'm having is I'm at the point in the game where it's the last leg of the game, and it's going to make getting back to the main world really hard. and it's kind of like I don't want to leave this world until I'm done with everything that I can possibly.
Yeah.
Do. And I'm not ready to finish the game yet because like.
You like it so much, you want 100%.
The dreaded 40-hour mark. I always call it the 40-hour mark in an RPG, where you're just like, ooh, I'm right past the creamy middle, and I'm moving into the end game, and I just don't wanna for a variety of reasons.
So much time building these characters. I've it's a really good story too, and
the key is you got to finish it while you can still remember. But I did that when my first playthrough of Dragon Quest VIII. I did that. I made it 20 hours, then 40, then 60, then I finally beat it around 80, and there'd be like a year between. Nowadays, I definitely wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
this is when I was first sort of getting the feel for Dragon Quest, and it was just so dense. I would say there's definitely one old RPG. When you were talking about Breath of Fire, finally came back. There's one that I've been trying to get through. And I'm just giving up. No, not Lufia. I've given up on Lufia plenty of times.
Same.
Great music, but god damn, is it just awful.
The battling's not great.
No. Grandia. I've tried.
Oh.
God, I've tried. It's just the battle system is not fun, and it is
that's a Dreamcast. That was a Dreamcast game, right?
No, Grandia was PS1. It's PS1. Fantastic soundtrack. Kind of a classic late 90s anime-y story that just has a very sunshiny,
Grandia 2 was Dreamcast. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they made a remaster of 1 and 2 that came packaged together. And it's all right. And I got so far, and then as I have to use a guide with a game the maps.
Prima only, Mom.
The maps are so unwieldy and like I'm trying not.
That's
to
the thing too.
Language.
There's some old jank though from games where like maps you get stuck.
It does a thing. It does a thing with the maps and with the battle system that I like to call "ooh wee." Isn't 3D fun? And it was a thing that PS1 was particularly awful about in their RPGs. And it was the developers were like, graphics will never be better than this. So we better make sure that anything that uses effects takes 5 hours. And I'm like, guys, again, the gold
Knights
standard.
of the Round Summon needs to take a good 20 minutes, guys.
The gold standard will always be Chrono Trigger because every move takes a second. And it's over, and it looks great, and you're splashy, and you're done. The PS1, for some reason, was like, what if we did it the wrong way all the time? I can't stand it. So Grandia falls into that hole. You can kind of fast forward through it. Yeah, I just can't do it. The other one, the variety of games that are sitting on my backlog that I just think I'm never going to get to are all visual novels. In college, I used to love them, and now I just am scared that I just won't pay attention.
I like Phoenix Wright was cool, and then I was like, I'm good. Like I don't need
20 more of these. And I would have killed for Great Ace Attorney, but that was years ago. When they finally released it, I was like, yes, bought it, and was like, nope. The time
Professor Layton 2 is kind of when I'm like, puzzles.
Finally return. Oh yeah, I will. If that returns, I will not be like, I'll wait like Ace Attorney. No, I will devour. Like
that's for me. The RPG is one that Eric loves. And I think Bravely Default was one that Eric
didn't finish it.
That what was that? No,
I
didn't finish it either.
I finished.
I finished 2, but not that one.
I didn't like 2. I'm gonna be honest. I got to the very end of 2 and I said, I'm good. I remember my wife was you're not going to beat the final boss. I go, no.
You could really cheese the fuck out of 2. It got out of hand by the end, and I like.
Yeah, if you just had Thief was the best. I'm super fast. I'm going to one-shot everything. But like Eric was the one who told me, it's like, hey, just keep spamming the button, because what was killing me was you could beat the game early, but if you kept doing the recycle and making the timeline start again, and then you go fight every boss again.
That was the first game, and when somebody told me you had to do that,
they're
like, oh, you beat the game, and then you have to do it 4 more times. I put it down. I didn't wait. I just went close, boop, boop.
It should have been 3, maybe 2 more times. 4. It's like too much.
It was already slow. I was like, you're telling me.
Job classes, great. Characters, great. Battling, great. Especially with you had like an online pass.
It had a character with the name Ring a Bell in it. Mm-hmm. What more could you want?
I wasn't wild about the animation. I wasn't lying about the art design.
3DS game, right?
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
The backgrounds are really nice because the backgrounds were like watercolors. I always liked that. And then you have the weird polygonal. But the job classes in how you could spec out a character, they nailed that in it, right? And I always like that. And that's a game like, maybe I should go back. I just need to go crush this thing 3 more times. I'm like, do I really want to do that to myself?
You know what? I also have a couple of Tales of games that I got a decent way through, and then I was like, I think it was
Vesperia?
like there was this. You know what? Now that I think about it, there were 4 Tales of games that I started and quit. It was Vesperia. It was Arise, Zestiria, and then the other one. Gosh,
not the one with the redhead, right? The one with the redhead.
The one with the redhead.
Okay. Oh, what is that?
That's not Vesperia, I don't think.
No, Vesperia is Yuri, with the dog.
Yeah, they made this one, the one with the redhead. There was a release they did on.
It's on 3DS.
On 3DS. I have it too. And I started playing it, and they were doing the Tales of the Abyss. They were
Abyss.
They were like, oh, he's a clone. Oh, he's not a clone. Crisis of identity, and that. I get a good 20, 30 hours into each of these, and I'm just like, and I turn it off because, I play.
It's not Tales of Symphonia.
It's not Tales of Symphonia. And I don't know if it was because I was a JRPG starved GameCube owner, or because that you're just like, that's it.
Yeah, no.
There's also a vibe that the rest of these games just have not captured. There's something magical about Symphonia, and I don't know what it is.
I think it's the voice acting, and I think it's the characters, to be honest, and it's humor.
They're broad and big.
Yeah, the humor is actually really funny in Symphonia, and
yes, the skits are watchable in a way that the newer ones are just like, please shut up.
And it's also novel too because it's the first time you see the characters have side conversations. I remember that because that was the year I graduated from high school, and then my girlfriend at the time, we could play Tales of. So it was multiplayer. That's the other thing I like about the Tales of game. You can co-op them. But you can co-op Final Fantasy IX. I've been playing that with my 8-year-old.
Yes, weirdly, you can do that. And the PS1 releases of 6.
4, yeah.
It's odd. It adds nothing.
He for a 9-year-old, or not 9, my son's 8, just turned 8.
Yeah, you feel involved, have to read, but it's like...
I'm like, go over there or do this or that. I can teach him about. I'm like, you just be the black mage. I'll heal and keep you alive. And he's like, all I gotta do is cast fire, or lightning bolt.
Pretty much.
He's into it. Eric and I have also corrupted him and started to play Pokemon Unite because we've been back in the MOBA train. But
oh man, every time I try to play that game, it's like error. I'm like, okay, you don't want me to play. That's fine. I don't have to. I'm like, I want to, but you don't want me to play.
Eric's gone full pro. He made some master rank.
No.
So it looks really fun, but I just can't connect to the network for some reason. I don't know why.
It's fun. Nintendo's always been bad at the internet. It's probably not your fault.
It's true.
You mentioned Pokemon, and Casey and I were talking the other last week on the Pokemon Hour. There is a rumor coming out about the next gen Legends game in the Pokemon series being Gen 5?
5. Yeah.
Gen 5. Black and white.
That's the hot rumor in the Pokemon community now.
In Unova. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm for it, and I think it's going to be in the future because we talked about Arceus Legends is a paradox of the past, so now we need a paradox of the future, right?
Well, I don't think Arceus Legends is a paradox. The paradox, that's genuine time travel.
Yeah,
paradox Pokemon are not real. They're invented. The machine,
but not the past paradox ones. The past paradox are
no, they're invented. No, they're not real.
Oh wait, because the scientists kind of
none of them are real. They're if you there are clues in the game, and there's also a legal reason. For some reason, time travel stories are illegal in China, so there was some legal issue too.
Oh really?
Yes, there was an international thing. So it's almost like an S&P. I know this sounds odd, but it's almost like
I believe you, but just why?
So what, in China,
international standards and practices are odd, but the paradox Pokemon are not from the past or the future. They are invented by a machine that misinterpreted somebody's drawings and imagination and created them.
Warning us about AI. Oh no, that's what Pokemon Scarlet.
Which is why none of them have Pokédex entries or real names because they're not real Pokemon. It's not Jiggly Spear. It's
Fluttermane.
Yeah.
Walking Wake,
Iron Thieves, they're not real. They're invented. And it's also why they look, you're like, how did that evolve into that? It didn't evolve. It's not real. It's made up. A computer looked at a bunch of garbled information along with somebody's imagination and created this. Oh no, and it thinks it's from the past. It thinks it's this. And what it is really is that person saw a Suicune and imagined it as that because it didn't know what it was.
It didn't know what to do. Because it was some fever dream because she's stuck in.
But Arceus Pokemon are really different, and those are technically regional variants that died off because the region changed and they're extinct.
Natural selection.
And it makes sense because a lot of them evolved due to an item that is no longer available.
Right.
Ursaluna needs a kind of clay that you can't find there.
Such a strong Pokemon right now in the competitive. The Pokemon World Championships is actually not this weekend, but next weekend, and they have World Championship for Unite, and Ursaluna is like very meta. Same with the Sushi Pokemon, which I'm Donzo and Tsugi or whatever. Yeah,
Tsugiri, I think.
Yeah,
So,
they're great.
Is it Tatsugi?
I'm all for a future Legend. If they do another Legends game, then do it in the future because like Nova is their version of the USA, right? You do some like
I want a big samurai era Kanto and Johto together. I want Edo.
You want Legend Celebi?
Yeah, give me that. That.
I want Legends Rayquaza.
Or Legends Mew and set it in South America.
Okay. Because they were in the jungle and that's where they found them.
You have to go through a primordial jungle with the scariest Pokemon you've ever seen, jumping out of the densest, most humid,
Gyarados of the Hydra comes out.
You don't want to go into that jungle. I would love a scary jungle Pokemon. That would be incredible.
A jump scare game?
Yes. You just don't. Well, I mean, Arceus Legends kind of was a jump scare game. If one of them things clocked you and
the alpha one, you're like, ah!
And I loved how tough the Pokemon were in that game. I know some people are like, this is too hard. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is what I like. I'm like, in the very first game, Professor Oak's like, don't go in the tall grass without a Pokemon. You'll die. Mm-hmm. Birds will swarm your body and attack you.
That's what the first anime episode's about.
It's incredible.
Joke.
So I like that Arceus was like, yeah, we're going to play off that. We're going to lean into that and have people. I still love to this day. It's probably my favorite Pokemon game of all time, bar none. I love it. I know that's wild to say, but I loved every second of it.
I cannot disagree. I loved Pokemon
It's
Arceus.
Just fun, and they understood it. They created, I really feel like they got in a room and they said, this is our chance to just unmake anything we want. It doesn't whatever.
Jubilife Village is the best town in all of the games.
Evolves, and it shows that
I love it.
What to me is Pokemon's strength narratively, which is people living in harmony with nature and learning to grow and appreciate, like the song says, we all live in a Pokemon world, right? And so town slowly going from, oh my God, I'm so scared.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so scared. That thing is going to eat my family to, oh, you mean that thing that like tills my fields? Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I use this thing as a set of chimes.
Well, it's almost like we're seeing the origins of people in Pokemon learning to coexist and work together. It's the only game that the Pokemon attack you. Like you said,
right? Well, now hold on.
The stakes feel real, which makes you feel less like, I don't know. It makes there's a grander sense of adventure because there is tension surrounding the fact that you can be attacked and you're not just somebody gambling on monsters fighting each other.
Well,
there's
also
real danger.
Some of these Pokemon are aliens, right? Just like Clefairy is an alien, right? They confirmed Clefairy from the moon, right? It's from space. Well, I think we move in because, aliens were confirmed today. If you paid attention to the news, to our final segment of Draft Time. And Draft Time is our game that we like to play here. Eric and I do fantasy football. I like just making up combos about drafting your greatest team ever and those type of things. And the theme for Draft Time this week is aliens. And it's top aliens you could think of. The rules are 5 rounds, snake style. You have to have one TV, one video game, and one movie game. And then your other 2 can be any of, right? But you're just taking something from there. So with that being said, I'm gonna let Eric kick it off, and then Parker, are you okay going in the middle, or do you want the tail end? Do you want the turnaround?
That's fine. Wherever you want.
All right. Go ahead, Eric. Why don't you start us off? Who's your number one alien pick? If these alien, now think about it this way: this is an alien from media that you would be like, okay, we're okay, or aliens would be screwed. Like, which type of alien would you want it to be?
So, my number one alien pick comes from a show from our childhood, Kablam. Kablam, it was the
deep cut.
It is
the variety code, Kablam, where cartoons and comics collide. Prometheus from Prometheus and Bob.
Oh yeah,
Prometheus and Bob. Wow, classy. I just want to point out, by the way, Eric, we have the exact same like Pantone color walls. We painted our room the exact same color.
But do you have Pokemon playing poker? Do you have Pokemon playing poker on your wall?
I do not. I got a sick
nice
Pokemon shelf over here. Plenty of Mons. Yeah. But not playing poker. That is classier.
Yes.
Oh man, dude, that's
Prometheus and Bob. You got to pull up an image. So
I am. It's up right now. It is up right now. I totally had that in the recesses of my brain.
Yeah, he was like real classy, right? And the caveman.
And Bob was a caveman. Yeah. No, and like he's trying to teach Bob how to use a toilet or something, and they just set him on fire. Yeah.
Those were fun. I remember really liking
Nicktoons. It's claymation too, which like Wallace and Gromit. I love me a Wallace and Gromit. Like he can't use the plunger. And Prometheus. That's a good. What a pick, Eric. Solid start. So you would want the aliens to be like Prometheus. Like Prometheus seems like he's pretty nice.
Helpful. He's
helpful. He probably would think we're pretty dumb if he watches any of our stuff. Yeah. Or what humans do. I like it. Solid.
Well, I mean, we're not Bob. We know how to use the toilet. I assume we all know.
Hopefully.
I assume.
Yes. Again, we were talking about our bowel movements and probiotic schedules earlier. We definitely do.
Middle age. So give me the categories again.
Okay. So again, on the rules, the categories are very simple. You have to have one TV alien, one from a video game, and one from a movie, and then any other two. Right.
Great.
But you have to.
So I'm going to start with TV as well.
Okay.
Start with TV. This is technically like comics and all this other stuff too, but I'm going to go with TV. He's appeared on TV. People know him. I'm going with Lobo. I'm going with the main man.
That's the enemy, right? That rides the motorcycle with Superman, Lobo?
That's it. The main man, baby. Real ones know. Pull up a picture of Lobo. Let them know.
I am. Lobo was, I remember, so there's a podcast that covers DC. And
he's the last Zarnian, and he is fully invincible. So if he's on my side, I think we'll be okay. But
yes.
But he's sort of a free spirit. He'll go with whoever's paying. And there's a great Justice League episode, since we're talking specifically TV. I think it was Justice League, maybe season 2, not Unlimited. There he is. That's the
episode. And this was the Superman animated.
Well, he was on there as well, but in the Justice League episode, that's the episode I'll recommend if people want to watch something with him in it. Superman is presumed dead. He goes back. He's like flung into the future with what is that guy's name? I don't know. The immortal dude. He's there with him, and it's like Superman is depowered, so he's got kind of a cool caveman thing going on. Anyway, the Justice League clearly needs a Superman replacement. Lobo shows up to replace him, and he's just a nightmare the entire time. He's horrible. Yeah. He's voiced by Brad Garrett, so he's got this kind of voice. Don't worry, the main man is here. And in the comics, he's always got a stogie. This character, he's wild because his creator made him as a parody of everything that he hated currently in comics. Like kind of butch,
super buff,
anti-heroes who were bad and they didn't care. And fans loved it. And he was like, no, damn it. This sucks. And they're like, no, it doesn't.
It's awesome.
And he's like, ah! So
an alien that rides a motorcycle and smokes cigars and hates everything.
Lobo he's legendary. He's a classic gag character in the vein of like a Deadpool, right? Or a slapstick. Real ones know slapstick from Marvel. The clown superhero who had 2D cartoon powers. Lobo, that's my first alien pick.
Okay. That's a solid choice.
The main man.
I'm going to crush both you guys with mine. My number one pick is also TV. It's Alf. If aliens were like Alf,
It's
I'd be
Alf.
so happy. Alf they come and eat your cats. They really just want to hang out. Have you ever watched the behind the scenes now of Alf?
The
and
dad,
how horrible.
The dad hated Alf.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. I mean, and like everyone was mad because the puppet's stealing the show from these actors that have to come and put in time.
There's a famous blooper where like the lead actress playing the mom gets the line wrong, and she's like, "Oh, it's because of the puppet," and he goes, "Watch your mouth, sister. The name of the show is Alf," and the crew is laughing, and I'm like, I don't think she found that funny. I really don't think.
Oh man, there's an Alf outtakes. I'm gonna be watching.
There it is.
Later.
Yeah, that's the exact scene.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's me.
Did you watch this as a kid, Eric? Or my dad had an Alf stuff. Oh man,
This is
Alf was the best. It was like it's up there with dinosaurs as like one of those.
Look at the face on the dad. He is fully dissociating.
He's like, I'm here for the paycheck.
Her smile says, "Please get me the fuck out of here."
That is a late 80s dad if I haven't seen one.
Oh yeah, the glasses, the Jeffrey Dahmers.
He did not live a late 80s dad lifestyle. Look
yes.
that dude up. He had an exciting life.
Yeah. Is that from an erector set on the
oh man. Erector set would be.
It does look like a erector set.
Yes. So that is my. I was Alf. So happy. Alf, dude. Yeah, Alf. It would be funny. I would be less scared if an Alf walked out of a ship, and I had to deal with an Alf versus like something that wants to probe you. My video game one, though, I will jump into that already, too, because it's the snake and I'm going around. I'm going to pick my video game one, too. It's from a game. It's an RPG that I actually love. It's the only one of the few like sci-fi games that I truly love, and that's Garrus from Mass Effect 2. You get him. He's your right-hand man. He's a sniper. He protects you. You can get him in all 3 of the stories, and he's just a cool character. And if aliens were like that, then I know we're prepped for like a Starship Trooper type of alien invasion.
We got some good aliens on our side.
A good tactician.
Yeah. I want some good aliens. I do have some bad aliens that I'm ready for too. If it goes to pot. Who would be your video game alien, Parker?
Kirby. Bar none. I win. If Kirby's on my side and I feed him a piece of cake, you are screwed.
Is he an alien? I guess he is. So does that mean King Dedede is an alien? Yeah, because he's from the planet Popstar.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Alien Kirby. Checkmate. Nobody is stopping a living black hole. No, he has defeated how many elder gods from beyond the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah,
I like a good Kirby. Kirby Forgotten Lands, great game, by the way.
And he really is nonviolent. He just wants to chill.
He wants to chill. He's hungry.
Eat cake.
He teaches you how to play Smash.
Cake, God help you.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He does that as well. He's a good all-arounder, a solid guy. He's got a great attitude. He knows what's important in life, and like all the best aliens, say a Goku or whoever, and even a Superman, he knows how to forgive. He has forgiveness.
He does know how to forgive.
I'm a fan of Kirby. Him and I have the same complexion.
It's true. Eric, who's your video game alien? Or you can take movie. Who's your next alien pick?
I'm gonna do this one with a little prop. It's my man Guzzlord.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Ultra
alien. They're like
dude, let me see that card again. Hold on. Put that card back up. That PSA
shiny
10.
Guzzlord.
Oh shit. Ooh, it's a shiny.
Have you heard his cry in the anime?
It's amazing. I love it so much.
So scary. It's just a man screaming.
He's a scary Pokemon.
He goes, ah!
Yeah.
Like that. I'm not kidding. I'm not doing like a bad impression. That's what it sounds like.
It's awesome. And the way they describe the universe, it's like, wait, they're Ultra Beasts are common? You mean there's a planet of just Guzzlords just walking around?
Well, in that anime episode, it's like a post-apocalyptic world where Guzzlord's eating everything, right? Like, it's a very scary... It's a guy with Zerazora, and Ash goes back there with whatever his Pokemon is, and at the time, Pikachu. And that, yeah, Guzzlord, he's good. Would that be a good alien or a bad alien?
I feel like after his adventures, Ash has to go to like the Undying Lands version of whatever it is in Pokemon. Like he's seen too much. You don't get to just go back and live a normal life. He's got to move on. He's got to go.
He's an adult in this new part now. It's about his
Is
daughter. Yeah, it's his daughter.
That's his daughter? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I hadn't seen that.
Ashley?
What was that?
His daughter Ashley.
Oh, Ashley. His son Ash Williams from Evil Dead. Surprise. Pretty cool.
So my movie pick is Chewbacca.
Oh, solid choice. Okay.
I can't let him go to one of you guys. It's got to be Chewbacca.
That's solid. Everybody loves Chewie.
He's the ultimate sidekick, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid, bro. Never lets you down.
What better sidekick? I mean, always there, but can perform a variety of tasks. He can man the gun. He can help steer the ship. He helps
get the ladies. Like he's a
he'll
good
complain.
wingman.
He's a little human too. You know what I mean? He'll complain. He'll whine. It's okay. He's got some wisdom.
It's like if your best friend, it's combining your best friend with a dog and a bipedal dog.
Yeah,
it's like Barf.
And
Chetzel chosen Barf from Spaceballs as well.
Yeah, in the chat, I was thinking about that just now. Chetzel in the chat was talking about it is a theory that hasn't been proven, but they have shown screenshots of an older Ash in the anime. I've seen that, but the theory is that.
Cool but yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be a professor, right? Just like because how many of the Pokemon movies have you seen?
There's so many, 2 or 3.
Right. There's the one where like Celebi's in it, and there's a young boy named Sam that he meets, and I can give you spoilers.
Oh, that one! I remember they had to come out and say that one wasn't canon.
No, because it was saying that was Professor Oak launched.
His name is Samson Oak. Yeah, I think they were. Yeah, I know people like that one, and they were like, "This."
It's canon to me, damn it!
It's like they're just fun, man. These movies are just fun. You know what? The most depressing one was the one where Ash has a moment where.
You mean when he dies?
What is that? I think that might be it. But what is that? The
Mewtwo Strikes Back?
I should know the name of this thing. Is it Marshadow? Is that the name of that?
Yes, that's in the new one. In Pikachu, I Choose You. Yes.
So Marshadow gets in his mind and makes him imagine a world without Pokemon, and it's just our world. And because Ash lives in our world, he wants to die.
Yeah.
And I was like, like, you can't do that. I live here.
If you could take everything you have right now with you into the Pokemon world, you'd be gone right
Ash
now.
Was like, this is what I would live like? And I'm like, that's how we do live. Don't show me that. I thought that
He's right, though. We all know we would get
it. But I found it really funny, but I was like, oh my God. I'm like, he's right. We need Pokemon for life. Great pick,
Chewbacca. Eric, we'll just do one more round just because I don't want to keep Parker too long. Eric, can you give me one more alien? Because I think you hit all 3. You have your TV, you have your video game, and your movie.
You know, I think if we're choosing aliens, we need a doctor. We need Dr. Zoidberg.
Excellent choice.
Of all the doctors you could have picked.
I'm shaking the crab, man.
I mean, if you want to pick a better one, that's up to you. There's some strategy to this draft, you know. We need medical professionals, and I think Dr. Zoidberg, he has performed medical tasks.
Kirby will kiss me after having eaten a hamburger, and I will be fine. That's how he heals people.
That's true.
I'm cool with that.
Zoidberg would definitely lose his license for malpractice. Yeah. But if Zoidberg's real, maybe Bender's real, and that's a world I want to be a part of.
Only in some countries.
Only in some countries. Not in. If we watch it, Zoidberg is actually doing those leg break surgery right now on Shelby.
Just sit still while I snack.
I'm willing to bet in like Russia. Like there's just there'd be a line.
Yeah. Parker, who's your 4th?
Well, this would be my 3rd.
Oh, 3rd, right.
But I'm going to go movie alien now. I'm choosing Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. Insidious giant plant monster that starts out really cute, works its way into your heart. Sooner or later, it's taking over the whole planet. So a little bit of muscle. You know what I mean? I got a good leader in Lobo. I got a fantastic secret weapon in Kirby, and I've got my army with Audrey 2.
I think my team is going to crush you for movies because I'm taking the Monstars from Space Jam, and we are going to dominate basketball. on the court. And
Kirby is a basketball. We're done.
Right. It'd be the greatest collab ever. Parker, I hope things are going well. I want to thank you for coming. I know things are pretty wild right now in your sector with work. Have you been out protesting or picketing with everybody?
Good. It's too hot, so no.
Don't blame
live a little farther away. It'd be quite a commute. I haven't, but I'm following the strikes, and people are donating the strike funds and keeping up on the story. But the fact is, it's going to be a long haul. These things happen.
The corporations are really just showing how evil they are.
They always do, but it's something that, they're very callous about it, but it's something they do every 10 years or so. And I know people are like, oh, they're doing this, oh, they're doing that. I'm like, they look forward to it because they're constantly have some new thing they want to try. And they don't even think about the human cost of this.
No.
They just go, well, it's time for that new thing. Last time, it was reality TV, streaming, whatever. This time, it's all the sort of machine learning. It's, people are saying AI because it's like,
the hot
nice
term.
To say, but it's not AI. It's not actual intelligence. They're language learning models. It's machine learning, which is a fancy way of saying theft.
Yeah, right. They want to steal your likeness.
Data. It is scraping data and refuculating it into something that they can package up nicely and sell. And frankly, what's crazy to me are these articles where it's like, here's this company and they figured out how to make South Park episodes, and people watching go like, say goodbye to your job. And I'm like, did you like what you just watched?
That's not South Park. Awful.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? I can't wait to read 5 million stories that are all the same. Who are these people?
You know what they're doing? They're just taking
fanfic.
It's fanfic. No, they're like, hey, we figured out there's this thing on the internet called fanfic.
Machine learning and these language learning models that they are disrupting the industry with is the latest grift. It's no different than the thing that these venture capitalist bros do all the time, which is they find some fancy new party trick and then they make sure that they proliferate it into whatever industry that it's meant to upend and call it disruption, when in reality, they're making sure that it gets a foothold before it can be regulated into oblivion at where it belongs, like your Ubers, your PayPals, and your many other, corporations who, if they pay me, I will say the exact opposite. So that's that, but that's the world. That's the world that we live in, and that's what the AMPTP or whatever is doing right now. They want to try their newest bag of party tricks. They've been slowly, increasing their profits and decreasing everybody else's, wages. And I'm glad that not only the Writers Guild is striking, but SAG is striking. I think
that's the first time ever that they've struck in unison, right?
Since the 60s. Okay, and weirdly, the last person who was president of SAG at the time was Ronald Reagan. Boy, he did a 180.
Oh, right, because he was an actor. He was a big-time movie star.
He was the head of SAG, and it's weird to think of him, who was very, very anti-union once he became president, was once the president of a union who was striking with the other. Yeah,
he's also whoever's paying him, right?
That's why I said that, though. That's the country we live in, right? Like, cash is king. But that's what's happening, and I'm extremely proud of these unions, and I'm a proud member of SAG, and so I stand with them, and I would even if I wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is a fight that's worth fighting, and I think it's going to benefit everybody. And the Teamsters just want their I don't know if they haven't voted to approve it yet, but it seems like they're going to get what they wanted and avoid a strike. So I'm happy to see, a big labor movement throughout the country. And I would say to anybody who cares about this stuff or follows it remotely, it's a good time.
I'm an educator. Teachers go on strike, and it's hard on communities, and it does affect things. But there's a reason why
you have to be paid what you are worth. You have to be paid. And what's crazy to me is like, well, we want a livable wage. I'm like, even that's crazy. How about a fair wage? How about what you're owed for the work that you're doing, which is exceptionally hard. So, and unfortunately, it's a necessity because nobody who can make money off of you is going to not try to make more money off of you because that's the game. So,
the big thing too they talked about is there's going to be a stop of not media, but we're not going to see a lot of when will
we feel that?
Yeah, when's that wave going to hit where there's hey, there's nothing new coming out?
I would say think about here's a good example. Here's a perfect example. Deadpool 3 release date, May 3rd, 2024. That movie was just starting filming.
That's right, and they stopped.
The strike happened. So you know when you're going to feel it? Starting May 2024. 2024. Because that's a movie, not even a TV series.
Right.
But I was going to say January because some shows are made a lot faster than that.
Yeah.
But you're going to start feeling it a lot quicker than you think. And I think at the same time, you're going to see a lot of work from Scabs. You're going to see a lot of work from I know they will pursue this god-awful machine learning stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be
horrible. My thing is like, you know, these grifters, their first response is always, think of the money. And that's how they sell it to these executives. But I'm like, think of the audience. You know they have to watch it after you make it, right? Nobody's going to watch that shit.
No.
Nobody.
I worry about like the stuff I was reading too is about how if you work as an extra, they're just going to pay $1,000 for one day of work, but then they get the image and like
$200.
$200, yeah, and then they own your face
forever
in perpetuity or whatever.
Yeah, perpetuity throughout the universe.
Yeah. Who's signing that contract so I can slap them? Be like,
a lot of people won't even see it, and I'll say this about voice acting too. A lot of voice houses that work with these big streamers have been slipping in AI language into their contracts too. So just for playing for a day, if you're not reading that contract, it's like, oh, and then we have the right to reproduce your voice through AI. And they'll say like, oh, well, it's just for pickups and whatever. And it's like, no, they'll just use your voice.
Yeah, you have to. No, that's
so. Again, you know, whenever there's a new grift, whether it's NFTs or crypto or whatever else it is,
hey,
it's
don't
always
talk about my retirement plans like that, man. Okay. No, I hear you.
It's always going to be some. And look, the thing about a grift is people mistake it for saying like, hey, but this person's making money. I'm like, well, yeah, a grift requires somebody make money, but it's not gonna be you.
It's kind of like this triangle where it trickles
down,
and then you're at the base at it.
What did they? Almost like a pyramid.
Yeah,
almost. It's like a plan, a pyramid.
Very, very like tetrahedron. And it's like a
multi-level.
A plan, a multi-level marketing strategy.
Yeah.
But I feel for you. I was curious when people are going to start feeling it, and I also have a feeling
next year.
I think though.
Immediately with late night shows, to be fair.
Right, they're gone.
At Saturday Night Live, you're feeling it immediately.
Who our age is watching those? No one. I'm curious about like. I know you have a YouTube channel, and I know like comedians are now making a big push to put their specials on YouTube because then they have the numbers, they know the numbers, they show the numbers because I know Netflix holds the numbers, right? Netflix doesn't show the numbers. So my big switch here is going to be to me is like I could see more independent. Like I think animation would probably be really hard unless you have people that want to start a channel with you, right?
Tough.
You guys,
I would say too that YouTube is also an unreliable place to post anything, and TikTok is a little more obvious about it, but YouTube and Google throttle views so they don't have to pay you advertising. The biggest like gaming YouTubers have been complaining about it for the past 2-3 years, where they're like, how come one of my videos of the exact same quality is doing 1/10 of the numbers a day later? And it's all over there, and they'll see this jump and they're like, we've paid you too much. We don't have that many advertisers, which makes sense. It's not as if they're like, we just got to cheat you just because. No, it's like, we literally don't have the advertising dollars to pay you because advertisers are scared.
We got to spread the wealth.
Well, advertisers are scared of YouTube for the same reason they pulled out of Twitter. If you tell somebody this is the Wild West, then Dawn Soap doesn't want to sell. They want to reach moms. They don't want to reach, crazed loners.
Not yet. But I'm on my
not yet.
Not yet. And not even crazy learners. I feel like more parents, like when you have a daughter, you have a kid, and I'm not exposing anything. I know you have a kid, and you talk, but like, do you watch stuff on YouTube with her or kids' YouTube? Is that what's YouTube, like your guys' viewing?
Nope. that like we cut YouTube right out. It just is like it will make your child's brain mush. It's poison.
Adult YouTube, yes, and certain kids YouTube, I'm with you there too. Like my daughter,
they will gravitate to whatever is the most mindless. They will go.
It's a mom making lunches for her family, and that is the thing. My kids
that's wholesome, but it's like
what? Like, hey, we're gonna watch Storybots so you can learn about music.
That's cool. But kids always want to watch the videos that's like another kid playing with a super expensive toy, and just like
breaking it.
This sort of classic Nickelodeon style entertainment where it's like there's no rules, which is again, I don't know. Anyway, what I'm saying is if you really want to control your numbers, you have to do what a lot of other comedians, some of the bigger ones, unfortunately, you kind of already have to be big to do this.
Yeah.
But they just host their own videos and it's pay-per-view,
like Louis C.K. does that.
Yeah. You'd give a comedian $5 to see those. I think Uncle Roger did it, and he was like a YouTube guy, but he did it on he makes big videos on YouTube, but he sold the pay-per-view somewhere else, and that was on his. So that's an example of someone doing it like right now within the past.
There's gonna be some type of wild shit for sure.
I'd say weirdly there was a sweet spot where being an independent creator was a genuine reality. And now I'm like, some of these companies, unfortunately, I don't think there's anything sinister behind it. I think genuinely some of these, YouTubes and whatever, even though, they make tons of money, they're paying out of like the pocket of advertisers, and the advertisers really are only giving them so much. And so they're like, well, wait, if we have a deal with them to put ads in front of every video, that means if every video on the internet, everybody's constantly watching, we have to pay out that much more. Well, we can't do that. We have a vested interest in only it being this much so that we can continue to see growth. So these people get views and these people don't. And TikTok got caught using what is called heating. I think YouTube does it differently, but they have essentially a guerrilla focus group, they call it. So Big Doug, does anyone else talk? Sorry, I won't be here next week.
Hey, Big Doug. Hey, I asked him a question. Maybe
I'll be gone soon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry
if my
voice is great.
What a bully.
Doug. Well, he is Big Doug.
He is. But
and he does say XD, so he's laughing clearly.
Yes.
Anyway, so they have sort of weird peer-to-peer focus testing where if that person clicks on your video, doesn't click on it, they'll make sure they bury it or don't use it. I'm done. Sorry, Big Doug.
There. No, I like, hey, the grown-ups are talking. You're like a child that just wandered into a movie theater going, what's going on? Where
You're out of your element.
Eric is looking at boobs.
Casey said we're wrapping up and then kept going for 20
I know,
minutes.
sorry, I had to ask. All right. If you like what you heard, Parker, where can people find you?
You can find me on X. What is
right?
it called? What
Twitter
a terrible
anymore.
thing for a website.
X, and we send skeets now, not tweets.
Oh my God! There's a YouTube channel too. Look up Parker Simmons on Google. You'll find whatever it is I've done.
Yeah, and if you like us, you can follow in the description below. Like, love, subscribe. There's gonna be a Pokemon Hour tomorrow. Eric is opening 2 boxes of the 151s that are out now, the Japanese one.
Ooh.
Hopefully he gets the big hits. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Bye, everybody.